Glenn Newberg, the referee from Sweden. This, his first major tournament, 35 years old, so he'll be feeling a few nerves as well. And we get our first look at Chelsea's Mykhailo Mudryk, who has had an inconsistent season with Chelsea, but scored the goal in Ukraine's playoff final to beat Iceland to get them to this major tournament. Their first since Russia's invasion. An occasion laced with poignancy, and we are underway. The first of 3 live commentaries on 5 Live from Euro 2024. We're followed by Belgium, Slovakia, the other 2 teams in this group, and then Austria, France to finish at 8 o'clock. Ukraine, blue-shirted, blue shorts and blue socks, defending the goal away to our left-hand side, kicking from left to right in the Munich sunshine. Romania all in yellow this afternoon, with some early defending to do. Here is Sudakov racing up to the edge of the penalty area, and now Mudryk onto his right foot, space to shoot. He's going across the penalty area. Finally, the attack quelled by Romania, who get the ball up to halfway, and the ball from Zabani back to Lunin, and Ukraine can start again. Bright start, Paul Robinson.
Yeah, well, already we can see there Sudakov in the midfield for Ukraine, picking up really good position in behind that Romanian midfield 5, in between the back 4, little spaces that he picks up, finds himself in a great position, puts the ball out to the left of Mudryk, who's immediate intent, cut inside onto his right foot, trying to get the shot away. But that's going to be key for the Romanian defence, is to who picks up Sudakov in the Romanian midfield, because he just drifts into these spaces and he's very, very hard to mark.
Nitsa, the goalkeeper for Romania, Ratio, Dragusin, Burka and Banku are the back 4. The 2 Marins, Marius and Razvan Holding, unrelated, and then Denis Marn, Nikolai Stanchu, Florinel Koman behind Denis Dragush up front. And for Ukraine, the Real Madrid goalkeeper Andrei Lunin, Konoplia, Zabani, Matvienko, Zinchenko the back 4, Stepanenko, Sudakov, Shaparenko, Siankov, Mudryk and Dovbyk, the 3 very influential forward players for Ukraine, who are building slowly from the back in the bright Munich sunshine. Steparenko playing as an auxiliary centre-back at the moment, yellow-booted, ambling forward. Here is the number 19, Mikhailo Shaparenko, who is playing predominantly because Zinchenko is at left-back due to Mikhailenko's injury. Zinchenko normally deployed as a centre midfielder, but having to play left-back, a position, of course, Paulie knows very well, because that's where we see him very regularly for Arsenal.
Yeah, and the Sergei Rebrov, the manager, had the opportunity whether to replace like for like at left back or take Zinchenko out of that midfield role and put him at left back, which he's done. And I think it's more of a natural replacement. Shaparenko playing in the holding midfield role alongside Stepanenko. Those 2 will sit, they'll shield the back 4, but out of the 2 it'll be Shaparenko that's allowed the licence to go forward and join in with the front 4 players as Zinchenko was when he played that role.
Opening 2, nearly 3 minutes played in Munich. Romania 0, Ukraine 0. BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds. A game live on BBC Television as well, so if you would like, you can sync up the 5 Live commentary via the iPlayer or the red button. Romania, for the first time really in this game, having some possession, although it's wasted with the ball, looking for Dragush. Dragozin heads away for Romania. Florinel Koman has it on this near side, the left. A rise in volume. He is one of their star players, Florinel Koman, lightning quick on this near side, the left. Romania in their yellow shirts from head to toe, kicking from right to left. Here is Ratio. He is immediately recognisable because he's got a very strange haircut as he plays the ball into the box.
I can't believe it's taken you this long to tell our listeners about Ratsio's hair. It was one of the first things that we noticed. It's incredible, isn't it? I mean, what shade of blue is it?
Royal. Loud blue, I think, is probably the correct term.
It's rather Smurf-like, isn't it?
It's rather Smurf-like, yes. He is rapid, the Rayo Vallecano right back, second only to Vinicius Junior in terms of pace in La Liga. He's got some defending to do here because Mudryk has it for Ukraine, building on their left-hand side. That's the far side as we watch. Sudakov has it in field, and now Shaparenko, short pass to Sudakov once again. Siankov has a little touch. The boos from the Romanian supporters, very difficult to tell the makeup of the crowd because they're all pretty much in yellow, given the Ukrainian and Romanian home kits are both yellow. Another ball looking for Dovbyk. That'll be easy for Florian Nitsa in the Romanian goal. It remains 0-0. We've played 4.5 minutes and a predictable pattern, you could say, Paul Robinson. Romania sitting deep. and Ukraine, the onus on them to try and find the answers to get through what is a very stubborn Romanian defence.
Well, we thought that, didn't we, with Romania being defensively as sound as they are. Since the new manager's come in, they've conceded on average less than a goal a game, so that's the way that they will approach this tournament. But the problem that they had with Sudakov in the Ukrainian midfield picking up those spaces, it was interesting there because he picked up the same space. It was actually Dragusin who came out from the centre-half position to go and pick up the midfielder. So if that's what the pattern unfolds like, it'll be interesting to see if the Ukraine pick up on that and can get runners in behind into the space that Dragusin has left.
First sight of the Romanian manager Edward Iordanescu, following in his father's footsteps. His father, Angel, managed Romania across 3 spells, including 2016, the last major tournament Romania qualified for. Their record at a European Championship is remarkable, really. They've only won 1 of their 16 games at the Euros, and you'll remember it.
You're going to tell me it was against England,
yes,
wasn't it, in Euro 2000?
That Phil Neville challenge and all the rest of it. Their only win in 16 matches at a European Championship, but they have high hopes of at least making the knockout stages. Ukraine, as they have done for the majority of this game, with the ball at their feet, Konaplia into the centre circle. It's Shaparenko who sprays it to that far side, the left, and now Mudryk, worrying the Romanian defence again, slides the ball into the left-hand channel, cleared by Dragusin at the front post for Romania. Razio completes the clearance. Ukraine, though, will win it back in the centre of midfield with Zinchenko, and now Steparenko down the line. He won't keep that in play, and Romania will have a throw in their right-back position, 0-0.
He's looked sharp, Mudryk, hasn't he? I mean, we're still in the very, very early stages of the game, but he's clearly playing out on that left-hand side. The Ukrainians play with 3 in behind the main striker, Dovbyk, and Mudryk's got that role on the left-hand side, but his immediate first thought, forward, cut inside, what can I do? Can I join up with Dovbyk, get a 1-2 going on? And he's very, very direct.
Mikhailo Mudryk, who is understandably one of the more influential players for Ukraine. He did score the winner to get Ukraine to this European Championship, an 84th minute winner against Iceland in the playoff final. Ukraine once again moving forward dangerously on the edge of the penalty area. It is Dovbyk inside the box, laid off to Sudakov, whose left foot shot was travelling. It was blocked pretty much by the penalty spot. Ukraine looking dangerous. Steparenko to Zinchenko, far side the left. Sudakov takes over once again. The ball back on halfway. Romania with every single player behind the ball. Bournemouth's Zabani, right hand side of the centre circle. Now Matvienko, his centre back colleague. Zinchenko further down the line. Mudryk again, far side the left, just outside the penalty area. There are members of the Ukrainian squad forward inside the box. However, the ball doesn't make it into the penalty area. Romania can clear and maybe build an attack of their own on that far side the right. Good run from Draguš, looking for Denis Marn. The ball will break for Coman, 25 yards out, central position. Coman goes for goal and finds Lunin. Comfortable save from the Real Madrid goalkeeper in the end, but the first real sight of Romania in full flow.
Yeah, Marin won the ball back in midfield there. He took one of the Ukrainian players down. It was a decent tackle, but it looks like he just caught him on the way over the top. But you can see there Razvan Marin's intent, the quick, the snapping in midfield. They know they're not going to have a lot of possession, the Romanians, but when they do, they try and turn over quick and they try and get in behind the Ukrainian defence.
Ilya Zabani was the recipient of an industrious challenge, shall we say, by Razvan Marin. He won the ball, but he followed through and caught Zabani on the knee. It looked a painful one. Is that one of those you can file under, knew what he was doing, Marin? Get the ball but leave a little bit on him?
It was a clear opportunity for him to win the ball quite cleanly but leave a little calling card on his way past.
Romania 0, Ukraine 0. 8.5 minutes in. Dovbyk, right hand side of the penalty area for Ukraine. Nice control. Shiankov, the 2 Girona players link up, the 2 that have had excellent seasons for La Liga's surprise package. A 3rd place finish for Girona. Dovbyk, La Liga's top scorer, 25 goals in all competitions for Girona, and Shiankov was in excellent form too. Both are being talked about as potential movers away to bigger clubs, and they might use this European Championship as a platform to showcase their abilities, as I'm sure many will be doing. Mudryk again.
Dovbyk is huge, isn't he?
He is.
Seen him first hand today playing at number 9. He's clearly an out-and-out striker in this Ukrainian side. The figurehead as a 9, but he's a real unit. His shoulders are really broad. He's really tall, isn't he?
He has been compared to a certain number 9 at Manchester City, has Artem Dovbyk. very Erling Haaland-like, and you can understand why.
You can see that, can't you? And he makes his runs in between the width of the 18-yard box, leads the line, very rarely drops deep and joins in, looks to make runs. He doesn't work unnecessarily, but he works hard in the right areas. But as you say, seeing him firsthand inside the stadium today, he's a real unit.
Ukraine with the ball in midfield, now back inside their own half. Matvienko to Konaplia with the ginger hair, very recognisable. He's got boots to match his hair colour. Matvienko, left-hand side as Ukraine go from left to right. They have seen almost all of the ball. Described Romania as a 4-2-3-1. Really, it's a 4-1-4-1, and it is very difficult for Ukraine to try and pick their way through. But this is very much the Romanian way. They comfortably won Group I, 5 points clear of Switzerland, only conceding 5 goals, as Paul has mentioned. And this is what they do. They win games with very little possession. Zinchenko clipped ball down the inside left channel. Mudryk was after it, cleared by Dragusin, and Ukraine have a throw just outside the Romanian penalty area.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. This Romanian team, they're quite happy not to have possession. They don't worry about not having possession. This is their game plan. This is what they do, and this is how they win games. They have a low block, they soak up the pressure, and they try and counter-attack. 50% of their goals are from set plays, so you can see how structured they are, how organised they are. They're very, very difficult to break down, and they're comfortable not having possession.
Ratsio puts the ball out of play, and Ukraine have a throw just outside the Romanian penalty area. 11 minutes in, 5 live BBC Sounds. The opening game of Group E is Romania 0, Ukraine 0. But here's Dovbyk on the edge of the penalty area, goes down just on the edge. No hint of a penalty or a free kick. It was a good challenge by Burka just on the edge of the penalty area, but he is getting into more threatening positions, is Dovbyk. Here's Siankov now, near side the right. 25-30 yards out from goal. Infield it goes. Shaparenko moves it on to Zinchenko. Thought about the ball down the inside left channel, takes a couple of touches to steady himself. Instead finds Sudakov. That was a nice ball. Sudakov to Mudryk, just inside the penalty area. Excitement building for Ukraine. Sudakov's shot blocked at source, and it's all the way back with Zabani inside the Ukraine half. 0-0, but Ukraine, Paul, continue to ask those questions, and they're beginning to get into more threatening positions.
Yeah, like you said, it's Dovbyk who takes up those positions, not necessarily threatening runs in behind, but he's occupying centre-halves. Dragusin and Borka, the 2 Romanian centre-halves, they can't take their eyes off him, and he's a real problem to them. He's a real handful. If he's dragging the centre-half players out of position, then you've got Sudakov, you've got Mudryk, who are making the runs in behind.
Steparenko goes long and errantly long, drops out of play for a Romania goal kick. 0-0, 12 minutes in, Romania 0, Ukraine 0. Serhei Rebrov, the Ukraine manager. We know him well in this country, former Tottenham and West Ham striker, 75 caps as a player for Ukraine, considered one of the best coaches in his homeland. He's won 2 league titles with Dynamo Kyiv. Was managing in the UAE prior to taking the Ukraine job, but says he didn't hesitate to be back with my people when offered the job. And they have had, for more reasons than one, quite the journey to this point, playing in Germany in this European Championship. Ukraine with defending to do on the edge of their own penalty area. Steparenko challenges with Razvan Marin in the centre of midfield. Ratsio for Romania. Right-hand side of the Ukrainian penalty area. A step over, but doesn't get past. Zinchenko, who is far too clever to fall for that little trick. And all of a sudden there is space for Siankov to burst into on this right-hand side for Ukraine. He's now level with the edge of the Romania penalty area. Only Dovbyk with him, and his right foot cross, not sure who he was looking for, takes a deflection off Burka and drops very kindly into the hands of Florin Nitsa in the Romanian goal. It remains 0-0.
Yeah, that's very uncharacteristic from this Romanian team. Ratsiu broke down the right-hand side, the right back, with his flowing blue locks down the right-hand side with his step over, but actually Banku and Koeman down the left-hand side had backed them up as well. The Romanians have committed far too many men forward, which I say is unlike them, and they're left spacing behind them. One ball for the Ukrainians, they were in behind on the right-hand side, so that's something just to keep a little bit of an eye on. They were just a little bit ragged there, Romania.
It is a style, Romania, as again they play rather haphazardly out from the back. Dovbyk was lurking. Romania have quite comfortable possession at the moment with Marius Marin just inside their own half, now inside the centre circle. Radu Dragusin, who has found game time very limited under Ange Postecoglou at Spurs. really Romania's problem. A lot of their big players are just not getting games. Here is Denis Mann, right-hand side of the penalty area, well challenged by Mudryk, doing some good work back there for his side. He has to think very quickly in the left-back position because Romania closing down very quickly. Ukraine neatly and tidily get themselves out of that position and can build slowly from the back again with Nikolo Shaparenko into the feet of Siankov. Centre circle. Has to slow the play down slightly because options in front of him were a little bit limited, and Ukraine can metronomically and rhythmically again, Paul, keep hold of the ball and see if they can find a way through this stubborn Romanian defence.
That's one of their weaknesses, the Ukraine. They are pedestrian-like in possession at times. So you look at the team's strengths, you look at the weaknesses, and one of the big weaknesses of this Ukraine's team is the build-up is slow, it's methodical, it's pedestrian-like, which for the Romanians it's perfect because they love getting in a defensive shape. So they can just drop into this defensive shape, allow the Ukrainians to have the ball, and then Romania say, go on then, try and break us down, because they've got plenty of time to get in this 4-5-1 or 4-1-4-1, however you want to describe it, this Romanian wall, and say break us down. From the Ukrainians' point of view, they've got to move the ball quicker. They've got to try and move this Romanian defence around.
The voice of former England goalkeeper Paul Robinson with us on 5 Live. The opening game of day 4 of Euro 2024 is currently Romania 0, Ukraine 0. Romania in the centre of their own half. The big diagonal attempted by Marin didn't work out, but now striding forward with great purpose come Romania on this near side, the left. Florinel Coman looking to worry Konaplia just on the edge of the Ukraine penalty area. It's Marin with a little ball to Dragos, barely mentioned his name, the lone striker for Romania. Ukraine swarm around him and win the ball back with ease, and Zinchenko can think carefully about his next move. He passes the responsibility to his centre-back teammate Matvienko, and Ukraine can start again. You mentioned the Ukraine style, Paul. All 4 goals they scored in the playoffs when they beat Bosnia and beat Iceland, they were 4 counter-attacking goals. They're having to really almost completely change their style to break through this team, something they're not necessarily used to.
No, they're definitely not used to it, and I mean the Romanian team won't change. They've got a way of playing and it's been successful for them. They know that they're inferior to a number of teams that they play, hence the reason that they play in this low block and play on the counter-attack. So the Ukrainians are going to have to come up with some kind of way of unlocking the door.
Well, they've tried the big switch to the far side, the left, with regularity. The referee blows his whistle, I think for the first time in this match. It could well be that's the second free kick, I think, isn't it, of the match after that earlier challenge on Zabani, and the referee gives a free kick in favour of Romania. Sudakov with a slightly late challenge. 0-0. 17 minutes played in Munich. Belgium, Slovakia to come on 5 Live. That's a 5 o'clock kick-off. The other 2 teams in this group, Belgium favourites for the group, unquestionably. So impressive in qualifying, 20 points from 24. And Slovakia, well, they will have eyes on second place. They certainly won't fear playing Ukraine, Romania, but they are the outsiders in this group. And then from 8 o'clock tonight to Dusseldorf, Austria, France, one of the hot favourites for this competition. France enter the fray, taking on Austria, who are without a couple of key players. That's to come here on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Interesting one to watch that one tonight, or listen to, the France-Austria game. Obviously France are one of the tournament favourites, but Ralf Rangnick obviously was offered the Bayern Munich job, the Austria manager. He turned it down. He wanted to take his international team to this tournament. I think he feels he's sat on something a little bit special with his team. He fancies that he can cause an upset. I'm not so sure it'll be as straightforward for the French tonight as people may think.
Well, Germany have looked very impressive. Spain were excellent against Croatia. England slightly less so, but did get the job done. We'll see how another of the hot favourites goes this evening. Ukraine building, centre circle, Matvienko, orange booted, left-footed ball to Shaparenko, his right-footed clip down the line is a good one. Konaplia stays on side, just has to drag back slightly because the crossing angle wasn't quite there. Nice one-touch stuff this from Ukraine. They move it from shade to sun, centre of the Romanian half, and it's Zabani again on the right-hand side of the centre circle. Excellent season he enjoyed for Bournemouth, the supporters' player of the season, barely missed a game. Matvienko, his centre-back colleague, and now Zabani again. Ukraine still posing all of the questions, but Romania have the answers so far, and for all of Ukraine's possession, they are yet to really test Florin Nitsa in the Romania goal. It might come now. That's a loose touch by Siankov. that has Shaparenko backpedaling furiously to win possession, and win possession he does, gets it back from Zabani once again. All this happening on the right hand side of the centre circle. Ukraine in this latest attack have barely progressed into the final Romanian third. They might do now until Mudryk is challenged by one of the Marins, Marius, the other, Razvan, unrelated, takes over. His right-footed ball, Denis Marn the target. Far too much on that. Drops out of play for Ukraine. Goal kick, and it remains 0-0 as we hit the 20th minute.
Well, this is a really interesting watch from a defensive point of view, from a coaching point of view. You can see how well this Romanian team are coached. The back four with Dragozin and Borka, they've not shut up. They're constantly talking to each other. The conversation, the dialogue on the pitch with the Marins in the middle of the pitch, but Denis Marn on the right-hand side, Coman down the left-hand side, they almost make it a back six when they're out of possession. And it's so interesting to watch the communication between the players, how well drilled they are to retreat into this position.
On our player for Ukraine, right-hand side of the penalty area, Dovbyk the target just over his head. The blue head Ratio clears downfield. The backpedaling Zinchenko wins it for Ukraine, and Steparenko can find Zinchenko again. Far side the left, couple of yards in from the touchline. Ukraine in the midfield third are keeping very controlled possession. It's balls like that they need to play more of. To Konapia, the right back. That's a fine whipped cross in that forces the first corner of the game. Andrei Borka stretches out a big left leg, deflects the ball over his own crossbar, and the first corner of the game goes the way of Ukraine.
I mean, it's not been a great watch for the purists, but from a tactical point of view, it's a tactical masterclass from Romania. You can see what they're doing, and you can see why they've had the success. From a Ukrainian point of view, with Konapia down this right-hand side, that's where they're getting their joy. Coman doesn't necessarily always track back, but Konapia down this right-hand side gets in behind, has managed to get a couple of crosses in, and he's won his team a corner here,
which Viktor Siankov stands over. This will be a left-footed in-swinger. In it goes towards the front post. The keeper thought about coming, but didn't need to do much with it because it was headed away.
That was the old-fashioned keepers away.
Dovbyk, left-footed shot is over the bar. Optimistic effort, 25 yards out, just outside the penalty area. You could read the intention, just trying to guide it into that top corner. Got a little bit too much on it, but Ukraine have their first effort. Not on target, but it's an effort.
Well, you can see with Dovbyk, can't you? He's got one thing on his mind, and it's the goal. And he's 20-22 yards away from goal with his back to goal returns. Feels like he's got a little bit of space. First thought he wants to hit the target, but he doesn't. It goes high and not very handsomely over the crossbar.
Romania loose in possession once again, but Ukraine can't do anything with it. Out of play for a Romania throw in their left-back position. 0-0, and this is very much the game that we were anticipating, I think it's fair to say. When you say it's been fascinating to see how the defences cope, I think that isn't that code for you wouldn't mind seeing a little more attacking.
But listen, we didn't expect anything else, did we, from this Romanian side? But it's fascinating to watch, sat from a height, watching down, looking at the way that the players are communicating with each other, looking at as soon as they lose possession, every single one of them knows what area of the pitch, what job they've got to be in. That's what they do. They retreat into shape, and they're so well drilled at doing that. And they've got a trigger, like we saw Dragozin go out there with Dovbyk and Sudakov. When one of them goes, makes the tackle, the whole defence squeezes up, and they don't squeeze up in sections. They move up and down the pitch as a unit.
Yes, this is very much a team maximising limited resource. Romania. The style has come in for criticism back at home. Many fans would like to see a little more attacking ambition, but Edward Iordanescu saying this is what we have, this is what we can do, and they're moving forward now with Ratio, right-hand side of the penalty area. That's a ball into the box that I think took a deflection, which made it kind for Lunin in the Ukraine goal. But Romania, despite their defensive solidity, and they've done an awful lot of defending in the opening 23 minutes, they are showing signs that they do carry their own threats.
Yeah, and their main threats come from playing in the areas of the pitch which wins them set plays, corners, throw-ins, and then they'll move up the pitch as a team and they'll be organised and structured again. But I think without Denis Alibek, he's their main striker. He's obviously been injured, he's a doubt for the game. He's made the bench. I don't think they carry any kind of same threat with Denis Dragos playing up there. He's been kind of ineffective so far from what we've seen from him.
Ukraine moving it sweetly on this near side the right once again. A combination of Siankov and Konoplia wins Ukraine a second corner in quick succession. Konoplia beginning to have more and more joy on the Ukrainian right-hand side. The Ukraine right back. Zabani and Matvienko come forward from the back for Ukraine. Many of their fans are behind the goal they attack away to our right-hand side. Siankov over this corner. It's another low one to the front post. The first one might have been a plan, I think the second one was just badly executed.
That was very kind of you. Another low one to the near post. It was one of those frustrating corners that hits the near post man, and it went in at knee height. It was an awful execution, really poor corner, and I think that the game's just lacked a little bit of quality. The Ukraine have had good possession. On the turnover possession, Romania haven't managed to keep the ball. Neither team had any really clear-cut chances, and that corner pretty much sums up the start to this game. It's just lacked that little bit of quality.
25 minutes old in Munich. Romania 0, Ukraine 0, and what has been a busy few days of sport on 5 Live. Not just the start of the Euros, we had the unbelievable climax to the US Open Golf in Pinehurst yesterday. If you were listening to our coverage on 5 Sports Extra, probably head in hands if you were behind Rory McIlroy. And of course the T20 World Cup in full flow as well. All the insight, analysis and reaction to the biggest moments throughout the competition on the Test Match Special podcast. You can listen and subscribe on BBC Sounds, and that's where you'll find every single Euro 2024 live commentary. This one, the next one, Belgium, Slovakia, the other 2 sides in this group. Vicky Sparks and Chris Sutton with you in Frankfurt, and then Dusseldorf 8 o'clock this evening for Austria against France.
The golf last night was incredible, wasn't it?
It was.
We were all rooting for Rory to win his major for the first time in a long time. But Bryson DeChambeau's been excellent. I mean, those of you who follow him on social media now, he's completely changed public perception of himself, hasn't he? I mean, if it wasn't Rory, I mean, the winner, I was quite pleased to see him win it, to be honest.
And he's got quite the following on YouTube now, hasn't he, Bryson DeChambeau? Ukraine moving forward again with no great tempo. They're just inside the Romania half. They've done this throughout really the opening 26 minutes or so. They move it from left to right to left, looking for those little inroads. The diagonal from Shaparenko will find Mudryk. That was a mistake by Ratio. Mudryk in the box. Excellent recovering challenge by Ratio. I think he thought he was second best there once Mudryk got the wrong side of him, but Ratio stepped across, well not to concede the penalty, wins the ball cleanly and sets Romania on their way. It's with Razvan Marin, and now Marn on the edge of the box for Romania, taking on Matvienko, who gets back at him, and Marn wins Romania's first corner, and that in a nutshell is how Romania play.
Exactly, and that Ratio there, the defender from the right, that was incredible. You touched on his speed. You thought for all the world that Mudryk was in behind him, was 2 or 3 yards clear of him. Ratio got back, got goal side. Not only did he win the tackle, but he kept the ball, kept possession, gave it to Dennis Marn, and within 2 passes Romania are down the other end and they've won the team an important corner, and these are the chances that they'll be looking to take.
Very strong from set pieces, Romania. This is their first opportunity to test the Ukraine back line. Andrei Lunin's not had a great deal to do in the Ukraine goal. One long-range effort that was easily snaffled from Florinel Coman, but here's a chance now for Romania. It's Marn's corner that goes a long way into the box, certainly longer than it should have done, because Ukraine had plenty of players at the front post area. No harm done. Ukraine clear, and it's all the way back to Nitsa in the Romanian goal. Another disappointing delivery.
Yeah, not a great delivery. I mean, you say that Romania relies so heavily on set plays, and it's not for the lack of creating chances. I mean, looking at the stats, they created 145 chances in qualifying, but they actually struggle to convert the chances, so they do get in decent positions. They are very defensive, but they'll spring a counter-attack. They will create chances, but it's the taking of the chances that they struggle with.
Romania have some rare possession of their own. Marius Marin plays it backwards of square to Ratio now, who's playing it smoothly out to that far side, the right. Romania kicking from right to left. Marn and Nikolai Stanciu, barely mention the captain's name. Romania will have to get him far more involved in the match if they are to worry this Ukrainian defence. Deep ball into the box, catching practice for Lunin, who snaffles it just underneath his crossbar, rolls it out for Sudakov to start Ukraine going forward again. But signs in the last few minutes that Romania are here to play and create some chances of their own.
Yeah, well, they've got a little bit of forward intent, but this is where the Ukraine can lead. They've got to be quick with the ball. Lunin there, the goalkeeper, took a really good catch, took across, he's played the ball into midfield, it's been passed backwards, forward, side, has ended up with him again.
Lunin with an awful clearance, and here's Marin on the edge of the penalty area, who scores quite brilliantly. Nikolai Stanciu on the edge of the box, a right foot shot that whistles into the top corner. That is a fine strike, given away carelessly by Ukraine. Stanciu's right foot shot, and it's Romania 1, Ukraine 0.
Stanciu into the stanchion. What a finish. Absolutely brilliant finish from the Romanian. The ball comes to his right foot, whips it across himself, across Lunin, right into the top right hand corner. Sloppy defending by the Ukraine, the masters of their own downfall, but we've just seen probably one of the best goals of the tournament so far. Ukrainians in comfortable possession. Lunin has the ball, plays out to his central midfielder, they play along the back four, sloppy passing back to the goalkeeper, an awful clearance by Lunin, straight to Stanchu, cuts inside, plays it onto the right foot, and he whips it across Lunin, high into the top right hand corner. First time finish, just underneath the crossbar. What a brilliant finish.
It is an absolutely spectacular finish from the Romanian skipper Nicolae Stancu, arrows into the top corner. 15th goal for Romania on his 70th appearance. He's the most capped player in the squad, and he is unquestionably their leader, their most consistent player. Barely had a kick in the opening half an hour, but it's Romania who lead, and Alexander Zinchenko went straight to Andrei Lunin in the Ukrainian goal to say, chin up, head up, it happens.
It was an awful clearance by Lunin. You could see what he was trying to do. The ball's come back to him, and he's just trying to sweep it across his body out to the left back, but he hasn't got a decent connection with it. The Romanian players cut it out, played it inside, and it's a fantastic finish. But the Ukrainian goal was under no threat. It was quite comfortable possession. They were sloppy, they give away possession. But this is going to be really interesting now, Chris, because we know how the way the Romanians play. They've now got something to hold on to. They've now got something to defend.
They do, and this is a position that they flourish in, especially the qualifying group, where they didn't score too many goals, they weren't particularly flamboyant, but when they got their noses in front, they tended to stay there. Edward Iordanescu, very smart in his suit, comes out to the edge of his technical area. Serhiy Rebrov, the Ukrainian head coach, arms folded. His team relatively comfortable. They weren't creating a great deal, but they certainly weren't under any threat. But it's Romania who lead in this Group E opener. Nicolae Stancu's fine strike from the edge of the penalty area.
Well, there's one thing, this Ukrainian team, they won't panic. They were behind in 6 of the qualifying games, and they come back to win 4 of them. So it's not a position that they're unfamiliar. We're just getting the privilege of watching the replay again. What a fantastic strike. If you're out and about listening to us, when you get home, back on, switch on the BBC iPlayer, switch on BBC and watch this goal. It's an incredible finish. Goal of the tournament for me so far.
Well, if we see any better than that, they'll be worth watching. Plenty of the Romanian fans inside the Munich football arena, as it's known in Euro 2024, the Allianz Arena, Bayern Munich's home. Many of the Romanian fans on their feet celebrating. Unsurprisingly so, they have something to hold on to, and the onus once again back on Ukraine to try and find a way through. Stoppage in play, the referee is sorting out, not sure what it was in the end, but Nicolae Stancu and Taras Stepanenko, the two captains, and there's a shake of the hands now between Shaparenko and Stancu. All is well once again, and Romania can take this throw. Central position on this near side, the left, that is a foul. Rather industrious challenge from Nicolae Shaparenko. Romania have a free kick just on the edge of the Ukraine penalty area, and this is undoubtedly their best spell in the game.
Yeah, and they've got an opportunity again to put the ball into the box from a set play. Shaparenko, pointless challenge. There's 2 players running. Kanopier's with him. There's no need to foul Dragus. They do. Takes his legs away, and now the Romanians have got a free kick on his left-hand side with an opportunity. Borka, Dragusin, Banku, they've all gone forward. There's going to be a delivery into the box.
Big players forward. Yeah, Dragusin is there. Banku is there. These are worrying times for Ukraine in this match. Vulnerable, already trailing by a goal to nil, and have this free kick to defend. Stancu, which a good-looking ball into the front post. Ukraine deal with it. Combination, I think, of Dolpik in the end, and possibly Shaparenko getting the ball clear. Romania have a corner.
Yeah, Dolpik goes head to it near post, and I think the fact that he ended up with his head facing his own goal and looking up in the air, I don't think he quite knew where the ball had gone. It's a really good spell for Romania, this. They're giving themselves a little bit of belief. We know they played defensively, but they've shown here they've got a little bit of an attacking threat, and you can see the belief and confidence growing. We're seeing the supporters behind the goal now, and that confidence is flooding into the team.
So many yellow shirts behind the goal. Ukraine are defending. Romania lead by a goal to nil. Stancu, the goal scorer, is over this corner. The referee is having to be a little more involved than he has been so far in this game, now having a little word with Zinchenko. Here comes the corner, it's short. Denis Marn swings it in, not a particularly good one. It might cost Romania here. Didn't beat the first man, and Ukraine maybe can spring the counter-attack. Sudakov shrugged off the ball legally, says the referee, and Romania have won it back in their left-back position. And now break forward on the left. The ball forward by Banku, the left-back, takes a deflection, goes out for a throw, takes it quickly, and the ball in, looking for the run of Koman. It is cleared, and Romania have it once again. Ratziu, the right back, central position inside the Ukraine half. Romania enjoying themselves in the Munich sun. Denis Marn, the influential Parma player, clever ball inside the penalty area. Matvienko saw that, clears it downfield. Nitsa, the Romanian goalkeeper, picks it up. And it's the oldest cliche in the book, Paul, but it is amazing what a goal can do.
I'm just going to say exactly the same. You can see the confidence come into this Romanian team. We know the way they set up. We've spoke about the defensive side of it, but all of a sudden the goal's gone in. They've got a little bit of belief. Denis Marn down the right-hand side, Coleman down this left-hand side. They're putting a few passes together. They're keeping possession, and this is without doubt the best spell of the game. And it's no coincidence that it's come following the goal. I mean, listen to the Romanian support inside the stadium. It's incredible.
Into the final 10 minutes of the first half. 5 live BBC sounds at Euro 2024. The first game of Group E. Romania lead Ukraine by a goal to nil. Here come Ukraine. Mudryk, left-hand side of the penalty area. That's a good ball in and headed over his own crossbar by Draguzin. Really important touch because Dovbyk was not too far away. And Ukraine have a corner.
I think he's got lucky there, Draguzin. Mudryk does really, really well down the left-hand side. For the first time in the game, he gets the better of Ratziu. And Draguzin at the near post, he just throws his body across in front of his goalkeeper, and he almost twists his head on the side, and he hits the top of his head, flies over his own crossbar. I mean, he's that lucky, he's just had to retie his own ponytail as well, so he wasn't sure where it came off.
Here comes the corner, another short one. Siankov and Sudakov near side the right for Ukraine, now level with the angle of the penalty area. The angle to cross was diminishing with every second. The ball to the back post, it'll drop for Mudryk to volley, and it hits his own player. I think it was Steparenko at the back post. He didn't know anything about it. It just needed a touch, and it was surely 1-1. As it is Romania now, the yellow shirts flooding forward. Ratziu, the right back, 30 yards out on the right-hand side, running at Zinchenko, a step over. He likes a step over, does Ratziu. First, we've seen that a few times. The Romanian move, however, peters out. It's a goal kick to Ukraine, but that half chance, maybe you could call it, for Ukraine, with Steparenko at the back post. I don't think he knew anything about it.
I think it was a better chance for Mudryk at the back post. Mudryk finds himself 5-6 yards from goal on the angle, and he hits the volley, he strikes the volley, and he's going for goal. I mean, he hits it accidentally across goal, and he hits his own player. I think it comes at him too quick. Mudryk should have done better.
And now play a lovely ball to Siankov, who can't get away from Banku, who stood his ground well. Big clearance downfield, inviting Florinel Koman forward for Romania. Tied up by Zabani, and Lunin can find Matvienko to start Ukraine moving again. They just, you feel, need a few minutes of composure. They trail 1-0. Here's Dovbyk though, edge of the penalty area. Lovely spin, and the effort coming in from Shaparenko. Mudryk will have this on the edge of the penalty area. Sudakov, it's all very untidy and scrappy. It just wouldn't fall for a blue-shirted Ukrainian, despite many in close proximity there. Romania come away with the ball. Ratziu again rampaging forward. Far side the right. It's with Marn with the orange boot. Left-footed shot is only just wide. Not from a too dissimilar position to where Stanchu put it in. This one with a left foot from Denis Marn. It took a deflection, and Lunin was stranded only just wide.
The goalkeeper looked very, very comfortable. Either that or he knew he was beaten. Denis Marn cuts in from that right-hand side on his left foot. He unleashes a fantastic ball, which is looking for all the world. It's heading to the bottom right-hand corner. Takes a deflection, which takes it just wide of Lunin's post. Lunin was beaten. That was 2-0 if I had that deflection. The goalkeeper was nowhere.
Romania corner. Draguzin and Banku and Borka all up from the back. The height from Romania. The goal scorer Stanchu, the captain, is over this corner. It will be a right-footed in-swinger. It's right underneath Lunin's crossbar and very nearly goes straight in. He may well have got a little touch on it.
I think he's shot there, Chris, you know. I think he's had a shot.
I think you're probably right. Douglas Luiz style. Romania still moving forward. Right-hand side of the penalty area. Good challenge by Mudryk, who's clearly having his shirt pulled. That should be a free kick, and is. Are we going to see a yellow card for that? No. Wow, Oh, that was very nearly 2-0 Romania. In-swing corner that beats everyone. Did it hit the post maybe? It did, or did Lunin get the touch?
It's hit the joint of the post and bar. Lunin initially comes out. He thinks he's coming out for the cross. He gets himself 4 or 5 yards off his line. And if Stanchu's seen him, that's really intelligent from the corner taker, because the goalkeeper's almost on his 6-yard line. He's whipped the ball in over the goalkeeper's head, and it's hit the joint of post and bar. Lunin's been very, very lucky in the last 2 minutes.
Romania still in front, but so close to doubling their advantage. 5 and a bit minutes of the first half to play. 5 Live BBC Sounds. Romania 1, Ukraine 0. Ukraine on this near side, the right, slowing it down, getting a feel for the ball again. They've been second best in the last 10 minutes or so, ever since Nikolai Stanchu's fine right-footed shot into the corner. Here is Matvienko, thought about shooting from all of 40 yards, decided better. Zinchenko feeds it out to that far side, the left, gets it back. He's got Matvienko in close proximity. Instead it's Zabani, every single outfield player for Ukraine inside the Romania half. Shaparenko to Steparenko, the Ukraine skipper. Now Sudakov, he's been quiet, usual high standards, and he's not going to get that either. Konoplia plays it far too far in front of the onrushing Sudakov. It's out of play for a Romania goal kick. They lead by a goal to 0, and we have 4 and a bit minutes of the first half to play.
Again, from Ukraine point of view, they're just sloppy in the final third. They're not quick enough, they're not decisive enough, they're making bad decisions, they're not making the right decision with the final ball, or they're overhitting the final ball, and it's just a little bit too slow and pedestrian-like from the Ukrainian team. You've got to give Romania so much credit for the way that they've set up, the way they've approached this first half. Not only got their goal, but look to threaten to get the second as well.
And there are several Ukraine players that are looking a little bit exasperated. Still plenty of time in this game, still plenty of time in the competition because of the format these days, with the top 2 guaranteed a place in the knockout stages and 4 of the best third places. You can lose your first game and still qualify. 4 points will probably get you there. Long way to be thinking about anything like that, however. Here come Ukraine. That's the ball forward from Mudryk, who's just outside the penalty area, and now Dovbyk angled slightly against him. Good defending, really good defending. Andrei Borka just gets his body in between Dovbyk and ball and gets a congratulatory chest bump from Radu Dragozin. This is the sort of team spirit that Romania play with, and they have a lead, and this is what they do.
Well, you can see it there. Dragozin's covered all of, 20-30 yards to run over to congratulate his centre-half partner and just shielding the ball out of play. I mean, Dovbyk's a real handful. I've been really impressed with him, seeing him first-hand, this Ukrainian striker. I wouldn't honestly be surprised if we have Premiership clubs looking at him after this tournament, or currently now. I mean, he's, the La Liga's top scorer last year, 24 goals in the league with Girona. And like you say, there's a lot of Erling Haaland about him. He's a really big number 9 handful. But I think with Dragozin and Borka, the 2 centre-halves, they know that they've got their hands full with him today.
26 years of age, so he is very much approaching the prime of his career. Stoppage in play to deal with a head injury in the middle of the pitch. Staris Stepanenko went up. I think he is okay. It's the Romanian player who's in a little bit of grief. 5 Live, BBC Sounds. You can take us wherever you are, wherever you're heading across Euro 2024. BBC Sounds is what you need, and whilst you're there you can check out My Mate's a Footballer, Patrick Bamford and Joe Wilkinson providing insight inside the dressing room. Well, Patrick Bamford's providing insight from inside the dressing room, not so much Joe Wilkinson. It's a very good listen, and you can hear it on the BBC Sounds app. My Mate's a Footballer. 2 minutes of the first half to play. Romania 1, Ukraine 0. We may well see a bit of additional time at the end of this first half. Nikolai Stanchu's goal, the difference between the 2 sides. Romania, who went through qualifying without losing a game, unbeaten in their 10 matches. They won 6 of them, and it's their fans that are enjoying their afternoon in Munich so far, Paul Robinson.
Yeah, as we've said, they don't concede that many. They get themselves in this position. They're very resilient, very hard to break down, and just that little bit of team spirit that we saw there with Dragozin and with Borka, you can see the togetherness of them, the communication on the pitch. They're a really well-drilled unit, and the Ukrainian team are going to have to find something in this second half. For me, they've got to be quicker with the ball, quicker in possession. They're allowing Romania to set into their position far too easily. They're doing it again now. The Ukrainian team have got comfortable possession, midfield, and they're moving the ball backwards, sideways. And this Romanian team, all in yellow, they're quite happy to sit there and say, go on, have as much possession as you like in those areas. You're not doing us any harm whatsoever.
Marius Marin was the stricken Romanian, but he is okay and he's back on the field. Ukraine are back in possession, trailing by a goal to nil. The ball from Shaparenko and then a rather errant touch by Sudakov gifts possession back to Romania, who will just want to see this first half out, and they're being aided by a free kick conceded by Sudakov in his haste to win back position. He fouls Stanciu, and Romania have this free kick dead centre of their own half.
Yeah, and they'll be looking to get to half-time. They'll be breaking this game up now into sections. They'll get to half-time, and then they'll want to keep the game tight again in the first 15 minutes of the second half, and hold on to this very, very valuable clean sheet that they've currently got.
Mexican way breaks around the Munich football arena. It's a little bit early in the game, in the competition for that, I feel. Here come Romania again. Florian Koman linking up really nicely with Denis Draguš, who is normally the lone striker, but found himself on the left wing, and that's a little bit of eager play, over eager from Koman to try and win the ball back, and Ukraine have this free kick taken quickly. Knaplia didn't look as he played it errantly into centre field. Romania have it back as we enter 2 minutes of additional time at the end of this first half. The first half, Romania lead by a goal to nil. Dragusin to Gorka, and now the left back Bancu, who has very much made that left back position his own following the retirement of Razvan Gratz for Romania, who was such an influential player for Romania throughout the 2010s. Florian Nitsa has the ball back in his gloves, but at the moment he's got the ball at his feet. He'll pick it up now as Dovbyk puts him under pressure, and that will be a Ukrainian frustration, Paul, that Florian Nitsa, who is really the number 2 Romanian goalkeeper, because Horatio Moldovan played the qualifiers, moved to Atletico Madrid, couldn't get past the immovable Jan Oblak, which is fair enough, and it's Florian Nitsa, 36 years of age, and he's not had a save to make.
No, he's had a very, very comfortable afternoon, but that's the credit you give to the team in front of them. They've kept the ball away, and there's a little bit of that, but there's a little bit of a lack of quality from the Ukrainian team, a lack of urgency and quality in the final third. We've seen it so often that the last pass has gone astray, and they just haven't the build-up's been too slow, been too methodical, and it's given this Romanian team time to settle.
And you can see the confidence Romania now have on the ball. They didn't play much football in the opening 27-28 minutes, and when Stanciu fired his rocket in on 29 minutes, they've been probably the better side with the ball at their feet. That's a good-looking ball over the top for Sudakov, but again well marshalled by Bancu, and that's easy for Florian Nitsa to collect. And with 10 seconds of the first half to play, you fancy, Paul, this will be booted downfield, and then that'll be that for the first half.
One of my real bugbears, pet hates that the referees do this. They wait for a goalkeeper to kick the ball and then they blow the whistle. I mean, the goalkeeper could pull his hamstring, they could do anything. And if you're going to blow the whistle, just blow it now.
Well, I'm sure there's a reason, there always is. But there is the half-time whistle, and Romania lead Ukraine by 1 goal to nil. Nicolae Stanciu with a captain's goal for Romania. Brilliant strike from the edge of the penalty area. Lunin's mistake, the goalkeeper, it fell to Stanciu. He found the top corner, and Paul Robinson, that changed the course of this game.
Certainly did. I mean, it's a fantastic goal that's graced a pretty average game, to be fair. It's been very, very tactically well managed by the Romanians. They're so well organised, and from a football and coaching point of view, it's a pleasure to watch. It's not always a pleasure to watch for the spectacle that it creates, but the manager's done what he's done with the players at his disposal. The Ukrainian team, they can play a lot better. I think the second half will see them with a little bit more urgency, a little bit more direct. They can only get better. The Romanians will be looking for more of the same.
Romania 45 minutes away from just their second win in European Championship football. They lead this Group E opener against Ukraine by a goal to nil. Steve, thank you very much indeed. Yes, absolute firecracker from Nicolae Stanciu just before the half-hour mark in Munich. Romania leading Ukraine by a goal to nil. We have both sides back out with us still in the bright Munich sunshine. There doesn't appear to be any half-time changes. I'll run you through the 2-11s when there is the first break in play. We are just about to get back underway in this second half. Romania in their yellow shirts, yellow shorts, yellow socks will be kicking from left to right in this second half. There is the shrill blast from referee Glenn Neuberg. In his first major tournament, he'll be pretty pleased with his first half performance because he had very little to do with just how referees like it. Ukraine, blue shirts, blue shorts and blue socks with work to do in this second half. They had a good half hour, they were playing pretty well, rocked by that Stanciu rocket, and it's Romania on the attack in the opening seconds of this second half, with a shot from the right-hand side of the penalty area that is only just wide from Florinel Coman. That would have been the dream start for Romania in this second half, cutting it onto his right foot, just inside the box. Could only have been 2 or 3 yards wide.
Well, again, it's the Ukrainians that are sloppy in possession. They're really loose in possession. They're not very concentrated at the back. They've given the ball away numerous times. That's where the Romanian goal came from. And again, there it was Matvienko, I think it was, gave the ball away into the middle of the park. Koeman quickly onto it, cut inside on his right-hand side. And as you rightly say, inches wide of Lunin's goal this early on in the second half. I mean, a second goal for Romania at this stage really would give them something to hang on to.
Given how good they have been at the back and throughout their qualifying tournament, their qualifying progress to this point, 2-0 would be difficult to see a way back for Ukraine based on the first half, but a long way to go. Nitsa is the Romanian goalkeeper. 36-year-old Florin Nitsa didn't have a save to make of any note in that first half. Lazio, Dragusin, Borca and Bancu, as a ball is played in towards the Romania penalty area, too far ahead of Dovbyk, and Dragusin will clear for Romania. Marius and Razvan unrelated in the centre of the Romanian midfield. Denis Mar, Nicolae Stanciu, the captain and goal scorer. Florinel Coman behind Denis Dragush. The Ukrainian side in a moment, but they have the ball with Zabani, right hand side of the centre circle. Back to Matvienko, ambles forward threateningly, left-footed ball outside of the boot. A little too optimistic. Sudakov was the target, didn't get there. Out of play for a Romania throw in the right back position. Lunin, the Ukrainian goalkeeper, whose mistake led to Stanciu's goal. Poor clearance, the ball recycled to Stanciu, who found the top corner. Konaplia, Zabani, Matvienko, Zinchenko, the back four for Ukraine. Stepanenko, Sudakov and Shaparenko, with Siankov, Dovbyk and Mudryk, the three up front. 2.5 minutes into the second half, BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds, Ukraine building methodically and slowly once again. Zinchenko in field, Matvienko all the way back to Stepanenko. Those two have swapped positions momentarily. I'm sure they'll swap back as Zinchenko thought about the big diagonal, instead goes short to Mudryk. Near side the left, the Chelsea winger running at the blue head, Ratio. He's got Sudakov for company. Mudryk the long way round, left-footed ball in, but Dragusin gets away. Ratio completes the clearance. Zinchenko will pick this up for Ukraine, who can start again with Matvienko just inside the Romania half. And this is exactly what we saw for the opening half an hour of the game. Ukraine with possession. Another dinked ball. That's a good-looking ball and finds its target. Sudakov, left-hand side of the penalty area. Dovbyk the target with the ball in. Dragusin heads away. Down goes Dragush, but the referee waves him to his feet. And Ukraine still have possession. The gingerhead Konoplia, far side the right, the Ukraine right back. Ukraine going from right to left. Matvienko and Zabani exchange passes. Matvienko comes forward. Ukraine, they get themselves into this sort of position just outside the penalty area with regularity. It's just the next bit that isn't really working. Stepanenko backwards of square. Here is Shaparenko to that far side the right, and Siankov. We've got a little shirt pull there, but plays on. Space for Captain Stepanenko. There's a Romanian player down, but Ukraine no obligation to put the ball out of play, and they continue. Here's Sudakov, right hand side of the penalty area. Shooting chance, he does shoot, and it's still rising. Romania 1, Ukraine 0, but sustained Ukrainian possession.
Again, it's frustrating for me watching this. I mean, from a Ukrainian fan's point of view, they must be screaming at their team to have a little bit more urgency. They're having great possession in a similar way that Italy did in the Albania game. They're dominating possession, the ball rotation's good, but they're just not laying a glove on Romania. I mean, Stepanov there had a shot from outside the box, long way outside the box, high, wide, into the stand, and they're not really going forward with a purpose. They're having really good possession, the ball rotation's great, they're going around the back four, into the midfield, back again, sideways, backwards, but they're not really penetrating.
Romania have the ball on halfway, the right back Ratio, Denis Mar, that's a lovely spin away from Mudryk, and now the give and go, he gets it back, or at least the attempted return pass was played in his direction by Dragush. They go straight out of play, and Ukraine have a throw. in their left-back position. More ambition, I think, than we expected from Romania in the opening few minutes. We probably anticipated, of the second half, we probably anticipated that Romania would sit back. Ukraine loose in possession once again. It's with Marin, nice touch towards Denis Marn, his low ball in, volleyed clear by Matvienko, and that'll drop out of play for a Romania throw, and they continue to look the more threatening.
They've shown today that they're not just more this defensive side. Yes, they are good, yes, they are very well organised, but they do carry an attacking threat. And with Koeman, that we've seen for the first time in the flesh, playing on that left-hand side, cutting on his right foot, Denis Marn the opposite on the right-hand side of his left foot. They've got pace, they've got directness, and they've got players that can hurt the opposition.
Including this one, Stanchu, whose goal has hurt the opposition. That fine finish into the top corner, still the difference between the two sides. Romania's turn to be sloppy in possession. Ukraine bursting forward. It's with Sudakov onto his left foot just outside the penalty area. Rather lost his footing there and now appears to be out of ideas. He's got Mudryk close by. And now the ball on the left-hand side of the penalty area with Siankov. Low ball in that Ratio defends behind. Ukraine corner, and when they play with pace, they look a much better side.
He did, and he made the wrong decision there, Sudakov. He was very direct, he was pacey, he was quick, everything that you'd want him to do. He got himself in a position, edge of the box, facing the two remaining defenders, and all he had to do was slip Dogbikin down the side. He didn't, he chose to go it alone, caught on his left hand, onto his left foot, ended up losing possession.
Ukraine didn't really take advantage of their corners in the first half. This one is short. Mudryk all the way back to Zinchenko, and now Mudryk again, left-hand side of the penalty area. Into the box he goes. Mudryk's right foot shot deflected right across the penalty area, and will go out of play on the opposite side, the Ukraine right, for a throw a couple of yards away from the corner flag.
Yeah, we're seeing both teams with the wide men on either side with the opposite foot. The first thought is to cut in again. Mudryk from the left-hand side cuts in on his right foot, beats one, beats two. But this Romanian defence, this Romanian unit, they're so solid. The space for him's closed down very quickly.
Konoplia cannot make any progress just outside the Romania box, and it's the Romanians striding forward once again. It's a very strong carry this by Denis Drogos. Ratio, the right back, joins in, charging down the centre of the pitch. Marn's on the overlap right hand side, onto his left foot, was then challenged on the edge of the box. Brilliant effort from range, and Romania have a second goal. That is a wonderful strike from Razvan Marin. Romania have scored two wonderful goals from long range to stun Ukraine. It's Romania 2, Ukraine 0.
Well, that is the ultimate smash and grab. Ukrainians have come out in the second half, have dominated the possession, trying to get corners, trying to get chances. Romania in two passes, quickness and speed, counter-attack, get down the other end. The ball breaks to Razvan Marin, strikes him with his right foot into the bottom right corner, Lunin's goal. I just can't help think that Lunin could have done better than that. It wasn't a clean strike, it was whipped away from the goalkeeper. But again, Ukraine lose possession deep in the Romanian half, carried down the field, and it breaks two passes. They're on the edge of the box, and again it's a hit from distance. Koeman from that right hand side cuts in on his left foot, sloppy defending, strike, and it really should do better. Lunin getting to look at the replay now. It's a great hit from Marin from distance. It comes through the defenders, but Lunin gets there. He's unsighted, he's got his own defender in front of him. Zabani it is, 6 yards in front of him, his own centre back. He's so deep. Lunin just takes his eye off the ball, gets two hands, but he goes above the ball. He's completely unsighted, the goalkeeper. His centre half gets in his way, but it's still no excuse. He should save it.
He does get there, doesn't he? And it squirms underneath into the corner. Romania 2, Ukraine 0. Razvan Marin, the Empoli midfielder, doesn't score too many. This is 56th cap, and that's his 4th goal for his country. He did hit it really well. And for a team that have been much maligned back at home for being a little dull and boring and predictable, they've scored two excellent goals from long range.
Really good goals, but really good intent as well. We've seen the defensive side of what they can do, but we've touched before with Marin pairing in midfield, with Stanchu's first goal, Koeman, Denis Marn. They have got players that can attack, and they can attack at pace, and they showed there that was the ultimate smash and grab. From one penalty box to the other penalty box, two players, two passes and a strike on goal. Now they're going to be hard to break down.
Well, yeah, Ukraine, what have you got? Matvienko swings one in. It has to be better than that. That's easy for Florin Nitsa in the Romania goal, who collapses on it all in luminous green. And you can imagine that Romania will not be doing things particularly quickly. There is still plenty of time to go, well over half an hour in Munich to play. But it was difficult at 1-0 Romania for Ukraine. doubly difficult at 2-0, given how good Romania have been at the back.
And Chris as well, this result, I mean, it probably wasn't expected. Romania weren't coming into this as favourites, but look what it does to the group. I mean, we spoke about Belgium being favourites for this group. Romania, Slovakia and the Ukraine probably playing for a second place, possibly a third place qualification, but this first game in the group really throws it wide open.
Absolutely, Ukraine very much anticipated to finish second behind Belgium, 22nd in the world, and the FIFA rankings are Ukraine compared to Romania's 46th, and most of the pre-match predictions did point to a Ukraine win, not a particularly pretty Ukraine win, but a win nonetheless. But they are up against it and are on the back foot once again, with defending to do on the edge of their own penalty area. It's given away. Stanchu's right foot shot on the edge, well blocked by Zabani, but here's Mann into the penalty area. He jinks onto his left foot. Ratio's right foot shot, Lunin parries behind. So nearly a third for Romania, who are oozing confidence. Lovely move, but once again given away so sloppily by Ukraine. Stanchu's right foot shot, Denis Mann did well, Ratio's right foot shot on the overlap, Lunin parries behind.
Now that's a good save by Lunin. The goalkeeper's closed the angle down at his near post, he's stood up, and Ratio from right back has hit that at pace on the angle.
Corner taken short, it's Denis Mann going through, and it's tapped in for a third for Romania. Remarkable. It may well be looked for offside, but Romania have a third. Denis Mann across the penalty area, and it was tapped in pretty much on the line by Denis Dragush, and Ukraine are falling apart in Munich. Romania have a third, and remarkably they lead by 3-0, but Paul, this will absolutely be checked for offside.
Yeah, immediately there. I mean, I put my hand up for offside. He looked offside. I mean, it's an incredible goal by Romania again. Denis Mann from the corner cuts in on the left-hand side. The Ukrainian defence, it's all at sea. So easy by Mann, gets in. Do you know what? It's going to be tight. It's going to be very close. It's actually Dolbik who comes out. It's the Ukrainian centre forward back in his own box defending. He's the one that may have played Dragush onside. Looking at it again, he looks just off, but we've got this new automated system, so we're going to get an answer very quickly. But at the moment, the Romanian fans are still in full celebration mode.
Well, the check is over almost as quickly as it was started. It's been completed, and the goal will stand. Romania lead Ukraine by 3-0. Denis Dragush, that is a classic centre-forwards goal. Right underneath the crossbar, tapping into an empty net. Ukraine will look back at all 3 goals and think we could have done better with all 3 of them, because the corner that led to that goal was sloppily conceded, Mudryk giving the ball away, but take nothing away from Romania. I don't think many were expecting this.
I don't think even the Romanian fans and the manager is probably expecting this. I mean, they only scored 16 in qualification, which was the 3rd worst of any team at the tournament. They've scored 3 already today, and by the way, they've played well, and they deserve it. They've started off defensively, we spoke about how organised they are, but now we're seeing a different side to this Romanian team. This is the Romanian team that have gone 12 games unbeaten. Granted, you look at the teams that they've played in that time, but they've come to the tournament in full of confidence, in form. You look at the back four, you look at the strength, you look at the cohesion in the team. There's no real stars in this team. The team's the star. In a performance like this, what they've given today, wow.
The Ukraine head coach Serhii Rebrov watches on disconsolately. Andrei Shevchenko, another Ukrainian legend, watching on just as disconsolately from the stand. What Ukraine would give for those two to try and get themselves back into this game, but at 3-0, it's very difficult to see a way back for them. Based on how the game has gone, they haven't really laid a glove on Florian Nietzsche's goal.
No, and this is a team that don't concede goals very often, and they've got a 3-goal lead to hang on to. I mean, I can imagine now for the remainder of this game, there's already a Romanian player down on the far side of the field as we speak. The physio is going to come on, needs a bit of treatment, but their game management is going to be excellent. We call it time wasting, call it wasting time, call it gamesmanship, call it gameplay, call it game management, call it what you like. But they've put themselves in a position where they've earned the right to be able to do that.
Denis Dragush, 3rd goal for his country, 12th appearance, plays his club football in Turkey with Gaziantep on loan from Standard Liège. He's used sparingly for Romania. Denis Alibek tends to be the main man, but he has some injury concerns. There are going to be Romanian changes. Glimpse there of Yanis Hadji, son of the great Georgi. Must be a great time to come on. 3-0, opening game of the group. We played an hour. But it means we still have half an hour to play, so Ukraine will not be giving up the ghost just yet in this match, but they need to offer much more. Steparenko is inside the centre circle, just inside the Romanian half. Now Zinchenko, left-footed ball out, Mudryk, who will be, I'm sure, chastising himself for giving the ball away so cheaply in the build-up to that Romanian third goal. Tries in with a no-nonsense challenge to win the ball back for his team, and then slices a right-foot clearance upfield that will be dealt with by Zabani. Back to Andrei Lunin. And the goalkeeping position is an interesting one for Ukraine, because Lunin was by no means a dead cert for this side. Haori Bushan, the Dynamo Kiev goalkeeper, has been the starting keeper for the last few years, and Anatoly Trubin, the Benfica goalkeeper, is a very good goalkeeper, highly rated, had an excellent season for Benfica, so you do wonder if there is a decision to be made there. Here come Ukraine meanwhile. Konaklia won't control that, and it's out of play for a Romania goal kick. They lead 3-0, and we played 61 minutes.
Yeah, they've been poor, have Ukraine, on the attacking side of things. You look at the stats, they dominated possession, over 65% of possession. Total shots from the Ukraine, I mean, I'm struggling to see this, but it's saying 6. And 2 shots on target, but not one shot on target the whole game for the Ukraine this far.
Changes are being made for Romania. The first is Florinel Coman, who is coming off, and Denis Marn as well, to be replaced by Yanis Hadji, a Rangers player, but spent last season at Alaves, so he is on to play the final half an hour. And also coming on is Valentin Mihaila to win his 22nd cap, the Parma left winger. He is very much a super sub for Romania, has played all the qualifying games as a sub. Ukraine making changes as well. Vladimir Brashko has come on in the centre of midfield. In fact, it's going to be a triple change, because Yaremchuk is coming on as well, the Valencia striker, as is Yarmolenko too. Stepanenko, Shaparenko and Siankov are the 3 to make way. Brashko, Yaremchuk and Andrei Yarmolenko, the Ukrainian legend as he is now, the second most capped player, 34 years old. This is 4th European Championship, and he has half an hour or so, Paul, to make an impact, but it's going to have to be some impact.
It's going to have to be. They're certainly going to have to book the trend of the way that the game's going at the moment. I think the Romanian substitutes, you can see what the manager's doing there. The 2 wide players have worked very, very hard up and down the line, both defensively and offensively. He's put Hadji and Mihaila on just to freshen things up. Like for like players, system won't change. That's the thing with this Romanian team. Everybody knows their jobs. The system stays the same, the formation stays the same. Regardless of what personnel plays, they all know the jobs.
Yaremchuk also on for Ukraine, Roman Yaremchuk, to play with Artem Dovbyk. They don't usually play together, those two. It's normally one or the other, but needs must when you're 0-3 in the opening game of the European Championship. Zinchenko, short to Matvienko. The lively Sudakov is fouled in the centre of midfield, and that will be a free kick to Romania. Ukraine have just struggled, Paul, to get their more influential players involved. You would put Sudakov in that category. Clearly Dovbyk thrives on service, which he has been starved of, and it's led to what has been quite a disjointed Ukraine performance.
And I think we're going to see them going a little bit more direct now they've got the 2 strikers on the field. They're pretty much revert to a 4-4-2. Yarmolenko and Dovbyk will play as the 2 strikers, and literally they've got to start doing something different, because what they've done so far in the game, it hasn't worked. It's been pedestrian. Like one of the weaknesses that I said in the first half very early on was that the build-up play is very slow, and that's been one of their downfalls today.
What can they do from this free kick, which is dead centre of the Romania half? Mudryk towards the back post, headed partially away, and Yarmolenko fires a difficult chance over the crossbar, just inside the box. It came to him on the half volley. He was leaning back. It was a difficult chance, especially as you've only been on the field for a matter of seconds, and it's over the top. It remains Romania 3, Ukraine 0.
But he's frustrated with himself, isn't he? Because he knows the quality of player that he is. An opportunity like that on his left foot on the half volley, he expected better of himself.
Romania 3, Ukraine 0, 5 Live, BBC Sounds. These 2 sides certainly starting Euro 2024 with genuine ambitions of making the knockout stages in what does look like a kind group, with Belgium expected to top it. Slovakia the other side in this group. Belgium-Slovakia meet later. Ball swung in towards the back post for Romania. That'll drop out of play for a Ukraine throw in the left-back position. The T20 World Cup over in USA and the Caribbean reaching the Super 8s stage in the next couple of days. The big sporting tournaments continue right across BBC Radio 5 Live and the TMS podcast, the Test Match Special podcast, there for you. All the latest insight, analysis and reaction. You can listen and subscribe on BBC Sounds, which is the place you can hear pretty much everything going on across 5 Live. The Euros, the T20 World Cup, Wimbledon's not too far away from starting. BBC Sounds is very much the place to be.
Royal Ascot next week as well.
Royal Ascot next week, yeah. Wall-to-wall sport. And a general election to throw in as well, so...
I'll stick with the sport.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Here's Mudryk making progress for Ukraine. On the edge of the penalty area is Yaremchuk. First real touches for the second half sub. Zinchenko, square it goes, central position. Sudakov keeps it moving from left to right. And that is with Brajko, another of the new men, Zabani, and now all the way out to that right-hand side, and Yarmolenko. Yaremchuk's on the edge. Was he fouled? Referee says no. And to be fair to Yaremchuk, he didn't really complain. Romania charging into challenges, winning every second ball. Sudakov fouls Marin. Romania have a free kick. Dragush is on the floor. I think Sudakov's initial challenge was on Dragush. Referee thought it was okay. And we will begin with the Romania free kick. We're having a look at the semi-automated offsides, which are not too far away from the Premier League. And well, Paul, it didn't take long, to be fair, so if that is coming to the Premier League, then I think we're all very grateful to see it.
So long as we, as the Premier League, use it in the same way that it's been used now.
That's very
because
true.
we do have a habit of trying to change things and make things different.
We do.
And be a little bit different. Let's take this technology that's proven that it's working very well. We've seen it all tournament. I think it's been a success the whole tournament. Let's just take it as it is and use it the same way as it's been used, please.
There you go. Take heed. Konaplia is the first man into referee Glenn Neuberg's notebook. He's been yellow carded for a foul on Marin, just pulling back his man on the edge of the penalty area. Konaplia, who was a real threat for Ukraine in the first half, but has been quieter the right back in the second half. And Romania have this free kick that is 5 or 6 yards away from the corner flag. Certainly a crossing opportunity rather than a shooting opportunity. Yanis Hadji and Nikolai Stanchu stand over this, far side the left from Romania. They kick from left to right, they lead Ukraine 3-0, and the free kick hits the side, netting. It remains 3-0.
I think there's a few of us, myself included there. The way that Lunin's playing, he's not been overly convincing, the Ukrainian goalkeeper, and the free kick whipped in there at the near post. The goalkeeper almost dived into the side netting, didn't he? Almost looked at one point that he'd carried the ball into his own net, but thankfully for him and everyone else, it was well wide.
22 minutes to play. Romania have a healthy 3-goal advantage over Ukraine. Konaplia now, right-hand side, inside the Romania half, a couple of yards in from the touchline. Another excellent challenge. And Razvan Marin, whose second goal was an excellent strike from range, although Andrei Lunin maybe could have done better with it. The Real Madrid goalkeeper, a little bit loose in possession here, Romania. And they've relinquished possession once again. Zabani strides forward. Sudakov beginning to have more of an impact in a central position for Ukraine. He's going to think about shooting. Instead, a clever ball to Dovbyk. Back to Sudakov. He's running across the penalty area from left to right. Sudakov's left-footed ball in, aiming for a blue shirt. Instead, found the blue head. Andrei Draciu for Romania.
Oh, very good.
Still with Mudryk, and that's a free kick to Ukraine on the edge of the penalty area. It's only taken 69 minutes.
Blue shirt, blue head, very good. Listen, I've been so impressed with this Romanian team today. I mean, we spoke so often about their organisation, but watching them as a unit, the togetherness that they've got, the belief that they've got, and the work ethic that every single one of them has got. Said so many times that the team is the star. There's no real individuals in there, but the job and the shift that every one of these Romanian players have put in today, it's been an impressive watch.
They also, worth mentioning, lost Olimpian Morutan, who is one of their big players, to an ACL injury, big miss to their attacking unit, so they are without some key players. They lead 3-0, but we know in this game that European Championship, it can all change. And Ukraine will hope to profit from this free kick. That's a good 30 yards out, just to the left of the D. Florian Nitsa waits in goal. Sudakov with his right, or Zinchenko with his left. Referee Neuberg is happy. And here comes Sudakov with his right, hits the wall, and that's out of play for a corner. The look on Sudakov's face suggests had it beaten the wall, it may well have been causing problems.
It's a big wall, and Dragusin again gets his head in the way. And I think it's that top knot that's got in the way again, like he did in the first half. He's having to do another retie.
It's a useful haircut for a wall, isn't it? You get an extra, probably a couple of inches.
He's big enough as it is, isn't he? But he's it gives him a little bit more.
Mudrik's over this corner for Ukraine, right-footed. That looks a good one into the heart of the penalty area. Dealt with by Romania and will be walked clear by Valentin Mihaila, one of the new players for Romania, one of the second half subs. Dragusin is now a left winger all of a sudden, and he's won his side a free kick. Well, when you're leading 3-0, I'm not sure how thrilled you'll be if you're Edward Jordanescu to see your centre-back charging up the left-hand side, but he's won his side a free kick in a dangerous position.
He's done really well there as Dragusin. I mean, obviously the centre-half, you don't want to see your centre-half venturing down the left wing trying to take on the right full-back. But I think Dragusin got to a point where he realised where he was, realised that he didn't have a lot of support, there was no teammates around him, took it into an area, kept going and won his side a really good free kick.
Alexander Timchik is the next Ukrainian substitution, defender replacing Konatlia. So whether that's a worry about Konatlia's yellow card or not, Timchik is on like-for-like replacement with Yukim Konatlia. In comes the Romania free kick. Lunin gathers safely, and he will be mightily relieved to gather that safely after the 71-72 minutes nearly he's had to endure.
I think he's been poor today as Lunin. I mean, he's had a very, very good season at Real Madrid, stepping in for Thibaut Courtois. Obviously he's been injured for the majority of the season. Lunin's done a very, very good job at club level, but you look at the goals today. The first goal, he gave away possession. It was a fantastic finish. Nothing he could do with the strike, but he gave away possession. And then the second goal was shot from distance.
Sudakov with some brilliant tenacious play. Yarmolenko's ball in. Dovbyk the target. Dragusin with the clearance, and not for the first time in this game. Celebrates with players and fans like he's just scored the winner in the cup final. But that's what it means to these Romanian players, who remember only one win in European Championship history, and this is their 17th game in it.
Such pride in defending. And we know we've got another intruder on the pitch.
And he is being dealt with by the security staff before he can cause too much mayhem. He went straight up to Nikolai Stanchu.
He just wanted to congratulate his own team, didn't he? I think he just maybe enjoyed a little bit too much of the Bavarian hospitality this afternoon.
Quite.
It didn't look like there was any kind of problem, did he?
And with the sun shining, I imagine the Bavarian beer is flowing very nicely indeed. Romania changes a foot. We're going to see the former Reading striker George Puskás on in a moment. Low ball into the front post. It's another poor set piece. Lifted back into the danger zone by Brashko. Mudryk picks it up just outside the penalty area. He's got runners left and right. Mudryk onto his right foot, centrally positioned. He's worked this nicely. Can he find an end product? And that end product was a slide ball through to Dovbyk, who didn't really read it. And Nitsa, the Romanian goalkeeper, collapses on it gleefully.
It does well, Mudryk tries to weave his way through, but there's just so many yellow shirts that are in such a tight-knit area. What they do well is they get very, very close to each other when defending. They try and get the Ukrainian team, the attacking, they get them very narrow, and they just shut the space down. They almost make it impossible.
Adrian Rus is also about to come on for Romania, centre-back, so whether that is potentially for an attacking player just to shut up shop even more as far as Romania are concerned, we'll wait and see. Ukraine are attacking with the new right-back Timchik. He's well marshalled out of danger, although that's not a particularly clever clearance by Mihaila. Borka was on the floor, the left-back. It was played to him, and Ukraine pick up the pieces once again. That's a loose pass into the centre of midfield. It's rectified by Brashko. Now Matvienko centrally positioned. Clever ball, Sudakov, and now Dovbyk, Yarmolenko rather on the edge. Yaremchuk to Mudryk, looking back for Yarmolenko, headed away at the back post. Carefully enough, Hadji battling with Zinchenko. Out of play it goes. That's good hold-up play by Yanis Hadji. Romania will have this throw and an opportunity now to make these two changes. The first change sees Marius Marin replaced by Adrian Rus. So that is a defensively minded midfielder for a centre-back. So I think, Paul, we're we're seeing what Edward Iordanescu is doing here, the Romanian head coach.
Well, it's not like they need defensive reinforcements though, is it? I mean, that yellow wall's been hard enough to break down as it is, but with more defensive players coming onto the field, I mean, yeah, why blame them? They're 3-0 up, they just want to shut the game out now.
George Puskás is also on to replace Denis Draguš, who scored the third Romanian goal. George Puskás, who is on an awful run of club form, just 18 goals in his last 103 appearances, got just the solitary goal in qualifying, the former Reading striker. He scored a hat-trick in about 4 minutes, I think, for Reading against Wigan, if memory serves me. These days playing in Italy with Bari on loan from Genoa, and he's on to play the final 15 minutes of this match. Romania 3, Ukraine 0. 5 Live, BBC Sounds, flag up, and Ukraine will have this free kick just outside their own penalty area. Belgium, Slovakia to come on 5 Live from Frankfurt at 5, and then at 8 it's over to Group D, Austria against France, one of the pre-tournament favourites. We'll be seeing how France will get on in the tournament. They are well fancied in. Yarmolenko has it on that far side for Ukraine, deep inside the Romanian half. He's level with the penalty area. Here's Brashko on the edge, laid off to Sudakov, central position, onto his right foot. He goes for goal, and Nitsa makes a smart save to his right hand side. Good effort that, Sudakov. Didn't have too much room to work with. Right foot shot that Nitsa was expected to save, Paul Robinson, and did.
Yeah, I think that's the Ukrainians' first effort actually on target. Goalkeeper makes a decent save. It's a good strike by Sudakov from a distance where he's never really going to trouble the goalkeeper, although he does grab it at the second attempt. But yeah, it's taken a while for the Ukrainians to actually get an attempt on target.
And that will be one of, there'll be many frustrations, I'm sure, if you're Serhij Rebrov, but one of them will be chance creation, or rather the lack of chances created despite all of the ball, and Ukraine are seeing all of the ball. 67% possession. They're not doing a great deal with it, and time is very much against them now. Trailing 3-0. Mudryk with the ball on the left-hand side of the penalty area, near side to left. The blue-shirted Ukrainians going from right to left. Good ball through to Yaremchuk. Snapshot on the edge of the penalty area was blocked almost at source. Nitsa puts a big right foot through it. Zabani meets it with his head inside the Ukraine half, and Romania will get their foot on the ball once again with Nikolai Stancu, who's won the goal, started it all for Romania. Referee blows his whistle. Thinks Stancu was caught. He was, and the game will stop for a few moments, and Romania understandably will take all the time they can over any kind of set piece. They lead 3-0. 12 minutes to play, 5 Live, BBC Sounds, not just the live commentary you can hear on BBC Sounds. There is a dearth of content, a wealth of content to enjoy, including You'll Never Beat Kyle Walker. More insight from a dressing room. Kyle Walker takes us inside a dressing room to find out what it takes to win over and over and over and over again if you're Manchester City. Inside the dressing room with his new mates, beg your pardon, that's Patrick Bamford and Joe Wilkinson, but Kyle Walker, his podcast, You'll Never Beat Kyle Walker, available now on BBC Sounds. Yellow card coming out here for Rasmus Marin for halting a Ukrainian attack in full flow. Ukraine free kick.
Yeah, he just catches Mudryk. He just gets the wrong side of Mudryk. Mudryk gets past it, and Marin just puts his arm out and catches Mudryk in the face. Another free kick for the Ukrainian team midway through this Romanian half. But again, it's from distance. They've not really troubled this Romanian goal from any kind of close range with any good creative opportunities.
Ukraine harbour any ambitions of getting back into this game, you feel they have to strike now. 79th minute, 3-0 Romania. Mudryk with the little dinked free kick is towards the back post. Yaremchuk got a touch on it, and Nitsa dashing across his goal line to save, and Yaremchuk's expression suggests that was probably heading in.
Yeah, I think it came off the Romanian defender. I think it's Borka at the back post. Yaremchuk gets the initial contact on it, then Borka at the back post. It's going wide, it hits the Romanian defender, the goalkeeper gets across, makes a really good save, saves his defender the blushes for an own goal.
Yeah, first touch off Dragusin and then indeed off Borka, but Nitsa very aware of it, and in the battle of the unfancied goalkeepers, I think you can say, with the goalkeeping position uncertain for both sides coming into this tournament, Borin Nitsa has, albeit not had a great deal to do, but he's done his work very tidily indeed. He's not really put a foot wrong.
Looked the more assured of the two, hasn't he? Luna's certainly not had one of his best games. But watching this Romanian team, they're going to be hard to beat. The belief, the togetherness that they've got, they're going to be no pushovers in this tournament, and they've really surprised me today with their attacking intent as well as the defensive qualities. Ukraine haven't played well. I mean, I've seen them play a lot better. They've played very, very much within themselves, in possession, without causing this Romanian team too many problems.
Zinchenko for Ukraine, left back position. Forward it goes to Sudakov. His right-footed ball is a good one, looking for Yarmolenko. Just slipped on contact, did Sudakov. Yarmolenko can't keep that in play, and it's out for a Romania throw. Next in action on Saturday against Belgium in Cologne, and if they go into that, which now looks like a 3-0 win and 3 points, then it doesn't necessarily take the pressure off Romania, but they go into that game with a very strong foundation.
Well, the confidence and belief that they'll take into that game, and it's not a tournament-defining game for them against Belgium. It never was going to be. But actually, when you look at the performance today, the manager will look at this, the players will look at this, they'll dissect it, and they haven't really had to defend to their maximum. They've been so good as a unit. They've kept the Ukraine at bay. They've kept them away from the goal. But going into that game against Belgium, now we all know how good Belgium are. The likes of Trossard, Doku, Lukaku, De Bruyne, the plethora of attacking quality that Belgium have got. It's not going to be as easy for Romania, but they will take a lot of confidence after this game.
You feel Ukraine's next game, which is on Friday against Slovakia, becomes a must-win one. We'll see how Belgium and Slovakia, the other two teams in this group, get on in just under, an hour and a half. Belgium, Slovakia to come from Frankfurt here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Vicky Sparks and Chris Sutton with Austria, France to come in Group D, 8 o'clock, 5 Live and BBC Sounds. We are into the final 8 minutes in Munich. Romania lead Ukraine by 3-0, and despite the plethora of Ukraine changes, the pattern of the game hasn't really altered. Romania look in control, they look comfortable. It's difficult to think of any significant Florin-Nitsa save, and it'll be Romania who will take a very significant step, you feel, towards reaching the knockout stages. Here comes another Ukraine change, and Sudakov's game is over. Georgi Sudakov replaced by Ruslan Malinovsky. That's a like-for-like replacement. Genoa's Ruslan Malinovsky coming on for his 61st Ukraine appearance. Hasn't had too much game time this season, actually. He's played just 84 minutes since March. He did recover in time to take his place in this side, and he's coming on to try and do something in 7 minutes. But with the score at 0-3 from Ukraine's perspective, you wonder just what he can do to try and take something, to salvage anything from this game.
They've done a job, Romania. They really have done a job today. Tactically, professionally, everything that the managers set them out to do, I suspect they've achieved today. They've turned up today, they've played to the maximum of their ability, and they've really done a job on the Ukrainians. And at the moment, like you say, with time fast running out, we've not seen anything in this game that would suggest that the Ukrainians will get the goal or get anywhere near back into this game.
And that will be, needless to say, of great disappointment for Ukraine on an afternoon laced with poignancy. Mudryk, though, left-hand side of the penalty area, left foot shot is high and wide. In a game of few Ukraine chances, that goes down as a really good one, arguably their best of the match. And we're in the 84th minute. Yaremchuk to Mudryk, tight angle, left foot shot wide.
Yeah, there's me just saying that they haven't created anything, they haven't looked like scoring a goal or getting back into the game. One good ball through to Mudryk, but again, it's just the lack of quality in the final third. Mudryk gets a real good opportunity through down the left-hand side, rushes at it, lashes at it with his left foot, puts it over the bar.
He's been in and out of this game, Mikhailo Mudryk. You could say it's mirrored his season with Chelsea. Flashes of brilliance. He's on the floor at the moment in his pink boots, stretching a right hamstring, maybe just a little bit of cramp. Started the game well, didn't he? Got himself into some decent positions, but if Ukraine are to improve and get out of this group, the likes of Mudryk, Sudakov, Dovbyk, the kind of players that Ukraine really need to perform, and they haven't today.
No, they haven't. There's too many players that haven't performed. Starting at the back with the goalkeeper Lunin, susceptible for 2 of the goals. I mean, you can go through all the team and you can criticise all the team and you can say that they've not played to the maximum of their ability. But listen, we spoke about Romania's record in this tournament. They've only ever won one at the Euros. This, if it is to be a defeat for the Ukraine, it'll be their 9th of 12 Euro finals games. So they too haven't got a great record in the finals.
Yeah, it'll be Romania's second win in European Championship history, 24 years after the first against England, that Phil Neville challenge, etc. They have, needless to say, struggled badly in European Championship history. 2016, they didn't win a game, just got the solitary point in the tournament in France. But they're going to win this game unless something remarkable happens. The ball is comfortably back in Florin Nitsa's possession. Out of play, it drops for a goal kick. And Ukraine, who did have a decent qualifying campaign, you'll remember they were in England's group. They finished third, level on points with Italy. Italy going through on the head-to-head record. Romania making a change. And Nikolai Stanciu's work is done. The captain who started it all off with a stunning finish into the top corner. Lunin may have been at fault for giving the ball away. There was nothing he could have done to stop an absolute arrow from Nikolai Stanciu, who might play his football in Saudi Arabia these days. A 31-year-old, but he's an excellent player, and who has demonstrated all his qualities today. Gets a standing ovation from those wearing the yellow of Romania. His work is done, his job is done. He gives a little fist bump to his replacement, who is another defender, Bogdan Rakovician. Big hug from Edward Iordanescu to Nikolai Stanciu. And in many ways, Paul, you can say Romania's playmaker and starman turned up and Ukraine's hadn't.
Yeah, I mean the quality of the finishes that Romania have had, they haven't had all that many chances, but when they have had the chances, they've been clinical. And the second goal just after half-time was the epitome of a smash and grab. And I can't help but be impressed by them. And you look around the stadium now, you look at those walls of yellow shirts. The supporters believe, they believe that the job's done. The noise you can hear is all the Romanian supporters bouncing up and down, and it's a sight to behold.
Can Ukraine salvage anything? Something to take to that next game against Slovakia on Friday. A game, of course, you can hear with us on 5 Live from the BBC. Nikolai Stanciu, another shot we see of him celebrating the heavily tattooed Nikolai Stanciu. And they all embody his spirit, Romania. That a lot of the pre-match talk, a lot of the pre-tournament talk for Romania was they don't have many superstars. Their big players are not playing regularly for their top sides. You look at Draguzin, who's found game time so limited at Spurs, but has had a very good game today. Yanis Hadji. And if you throw in Horacio Moldovan, the goalkeeper, just 8 appearances between those three this year. And yet it's been maybe the unfancied players that have put in the graft and have put in the work to lead Romania to this incredibly impressive opening day win. Zinchenko on the left-hand side for Ukraine swings it into a vacant penalty area, at least it was, and Valentin Mihaila concedes a rather needless corner. He didn't get the shout, there was no one behind him. He puts it out of play for a corner and immediately gets a barrage from Radu Draguzin to say you didn't need to do that.
Yeah, I think it was just the communication was the problem. Nitsa, the goalkeeper, or Borka, the centre half, the left back was tucking in at acres of space at the far post, but I think it's the noise inside the stadium. All those Romanian fans behind the goal, you couldn't hear the communication.
Ukraine corner is headed just wide by George Puskás, Romania's George Puskás, who didn't know too much about that. That's by far and away Ukraine's most threatening corner. It took a nick off Puskás at the front post. That could easily have ended up in.
Well, that's a brilliant delivery. Left-footed delivery, whipped into the near post. That's one of the best deliveries that we've seen today.
Mudryk, as good as the first corner was, that was as bad as we've seen. Did not beat the first man. 4 minutes of added on time will be played, we are hearing. We're into that final minute now, and Ukraine still push forward. On the far side, the right, on the angle of the penalty area, is Timchuk, and his cross is blocked. Ukraine will have a throw in their right wing position. Nikosor Banku making the block, and it goes without saying, Paul, that Romania now, the only thing to tick off what has been a very impressive list is to keep that clean sheet intact.
Absolutely, and they thoroughly deserve a clean sheet. Dragusin and Borka, they've been absolutely outstanding at the heart of that Romanian defence, as have all the Romanians together as a collective. I think we've seen a team that's obviously very, very well organised, very well coached. You've got to give the manager a lot of credit, and there's a real togetherness about this team.
Ukraine is still coming forward though. Yaremchuk running across the penalty area from right to left. He's just taken himself out of a threatening position. Mulasevski slides it down the line. Mudryk to the back post, or it wasn't really the back post, it was very centrally positioned. Nitsa collapses on it, and we enter those 4 minutes of added on time. Romania 3, Ukraine 0. They are on the verge of a very, very good win, just their second in European Championship history, 24 years after their first. And based on what we've seen today, Paul, they will give Belgium a game. Maybe not with their attacking quality, although we've seen some very good goals, but more for their resilience and spirit.
Absolutely, resilience and spirit. They may not have the quality of individual players that other teams do have, but they've certainly got that one thing in abundance, and that's heart and desire. They've got an incredible togetherness and a will not to be beaten, and that's very, very hard when you've got a collective of a group of players like that to score past them, to beat them when they're all focused on the same task.
And where do Ukraine go from here? I wonder if Serhei Rebrov will consider changes to what has been a pretty settled team throughout qualifying. They've had a couple of disruptions with no Vitaly Mikolenko at left back, but the spine of the team is pretty settled. Zabani to Yaremchuk, that's handy, and Yaremchuk lifts his right foot shot onto the crossbar. It's a really imaginative effort from the second half sub. Zabani's little ball, Yaremchuk, you could see what he was trying to do, lifted over the goalkeeper, and he very nearly achieved it.
Really clever, great ball by Zabani in behind the Romanian defence. The first time that they've been pierced, if you like, as a defence, Yaremchuk just gets in behind. It's a bouncing ball, lifts it over the onrushing goalkeeper, and it just hits the crossbar, falls harmless behind, and Romania's clean sheet still intact.
And if they hold out for another 2 and a bit minutes, it'll stay intact. Romania 3, Ukraine 0. Nikolai Stanchu's strike from range in the first half, and then a quick fire double from Razvan Marin and Denis Drogos to take the game away from Ukraine, who have plugged away, but they've lacked real quality, demonstrated there with Timchik playing it too far in front of Vladimir Brashko. Serhei Rebrov, arms folded, looks on. You've been in a major tournament, Paul, you know what it's like. I know, granted, you didn't experience defeats quite like this in the group stage, but how difficult can it be if you lose your first game, especially if you lose it in the manner in which Ukraine are about to lose this one?
I think that's the thing. I think that's the thing with Sergei Rebrov. He'll be scratching his head as to why his team put this performance in today. Saw them first half and they were poor, they were pedestrian, they didn't really create, and I was expecting to see a change. I was expecting to see him put something into his team at half time, or his words, or however, and to come out a different side. But they've been very, very similar to the way they played in the first half. Pedestrian-like, slow up building up, and I think in a similar way to Steve Clarke in Scotland, the way that they got beat against Germany in the first game, the Ukrainians will go away from this game and they're going to have to go back to the drawing board.
Brashko drops the shoulder, buys a little bit of room, 35 yards out, centrally positioned. Malinovsky, direct ball forward. Yarmolenko's touch towards Dovbyk. It was a nice idea, and we haven't really seen that sort of ingenuity from Ukraine, bar the first 5 or 10 minutes. Mudryk on this near side, the left, inside the Romanian half. He's going to shoot from absolutely miles, and Nitsa has to save. It bounced just in front of Florin Nitsa, who got his body in the way. Mudryk shooting from almost equidistant between penalty area and halfway line. Decent hit, but it has to be spectacular to beat Nitsa from that range.
Now, only goalkeepers that are listening to this will understand. This pitch has been watered before the game. It's playing in blazing hot sunshine, so it dries up between the start of the game and half-time. Then there's another load of water chucked on the pitch at half-time, so patches of this pitch will be dry, patches will be soaking wet, and a shot like that from distance, dipping, swerving, you're not sure whether it's going to zip, stiff, move on to you. That was a really good save in a difficult condition for the goalkeeper.
And there is the full-time whistle. A big win for Romania. 3-0 winners over Ukraine. It is just their second win in European Championship history, but a convincing win to beat Ukraine, who were far from their best. Nikolai Stanchu, screamer from range in the first half, and then 2 goals to take the game away from Ukraine from Razvan Marin and Denis Dragush. There are jubilant scenes in Munich with all the Romanian players in a huddle. Coaching team, subs are all there. This is a big win for Romania. Disappointment for Ukraine. Paul Robinson, really from the 29th minute when Stanchi put that ball from range into the top corner, the outcome of this game wasn't in doubt.
Well, what we're seeing there now on the pitch in front of us, the togetherness, not just of the starting 11, not just of the starting 11 and the substitutes of Romania, it's everybody. I mean, there's the whole staff there. I wouldn't be surprised if the bus drivers there. The togetherness of this team, of this group of players, that wasn't a fluke, that wasn't a smash and grab. That was a very, very well coached team, constructed performance. They knew exactly what they were doing. They started off defensively resilient, they got the goal, they grew into the game, they grew in confidence, and they outplayed this Ukrainian team. Granted, the Ukraine, they underperformed, they didn't play to the best. Too many of their better players didn't play to their full potential today, but I cannot heap enough praise on that Romanian team today. They were excellent.
And the celebrations can begin in Munich and no doubt in Romania as well. A convincing win. And not many had Romania down as a team that would be doing much in this competition, but they might have won a few fans after that performance. Resilient at the back and very good going forward. And Group E is off and running with a Romanian victory, Steve. They've beaten Ukraine in Munich by 3-0.